Hey guys, we had a really quiet episode of TexAgs Radio. It's TexAgs Rewind. Got the fan show guys here.
It was nice.
Are you going to explode here in a moment?
No, it was very nice.
It was nice. How was it for you?
Very calm,
It was a nice
peaceful
approach,
talk.
7 or 8 iron.
It was a very nice week that we had,
Bit of-
and
bit of
we're
a
looking
head-
forward to
Actually, it
looking forward to
sucked,
Saturday.
but
Everything was awful.
we're turning the page.
We are.
Coach over here made us feel better about getting some turnover. So on the show today, we had Stephen McGee giving us his thoughts on the quarterbacks. We also had Ryan Swope getting it done. He always gets it done on the program.
Always.
Aaron Torres on the big games this weekend. A lot of good games beyond the A&M Mississippi State game. And these guys, I'll let these guys talk about it. How was his rant today?
It was one of the more epic ones I've seen him go through. That was
10
well
out of
done.
10.
10 out of 10.
out of
I
10.
felt like I was about a 7, to be honest.
I'm just glad we didn't get any profanity.
It was great, but the show's been canceled. It's TexAgs Rewind.
Yeah, I'm not taking any of the onus off Zach. Quarterback is the most important position of all of sports for a reason. He touches the ball every play. He's got to get the team in and out of the huddle. He's got to get in all the right checks. There's no doubt about that. And Zach's got to play better. He's got to play more decisive. He's got to let the dang thing rip, right? That's the strength of his game. I think he's playing a little bit tentative, a little bit scared to turn the football over right now. And, unfortunately, I don't think they're able to use his legs. I know he's not Haynes King mobile, but he can still move around. I don't think he's able to as much because they don't feel confident in the next guy, right? And so I think you got to protect the quarterback in the run game a little bit as a play caller. So all those things factor in. And then you get into a situation where you're playing a scrappy team in Arkansas. They have a 3-man front. They're dropping 8 into coverage. They're playing a coverage called 3 double cloud quite a bit, which is a nightmare for a quarterback to find completions against. You have a wide receiver group that struggles to get open. You have very few opportunities versus single high man. So they did bring them in the game. They bring 5, play single high man. That's the opportunity to throw the football. And you have guys outside running a fade route that can't get off the line of scrimmage. That is a nightmare. I'm not saying that Zach played well. I'm just saying that there's a lot of things outside of just Zach. There's 10 other guys that got to help him out. Offensive line protection, we know. It doesn't need any more negativity around it. It's bad right now. They got to figure something out. I don't know. They're going to probably play musical chairs for quite a bit to come. 28 and 6 have been solid, but unfortunately not enough creases there to run the ball consistently, right? It's hard as a play caller on 2nd and 12 or 3rd and 15 to call another run because on a probability basis, you're not going to get a first down if you do that. And so those are challenges for a young quarterback. You're in predictable passing situations against a 3-man front that's getting home. They're dropping 8 into coverage and they're clouding both corners. There's no easy throw on the field. There's no 3-step drop, take the hitch throw, get 5 yards. That doesn't exist in that scenario. It's tough. And I'm not sure the answer right now.
Spiller, the guy he gets it done week in, week out. So he's just very consistent, and I wish I could sit there and say that about our quarterback or our offensive line or, Jalen Wademeyer. But right now, 28 has all the trust in the world. So he's been very, very impressive to watch. And I hope that we feed him the ball 30 times this weekend.
All right, along the same lines, who will get it done this upcoming weekend?
Man, I'm going to go with my gut here because I feel like he's a guy that we expect so much of. And he's, in the past, he's our go-to guy, and that's a Naismith. I think that if you would even ask him yourself, kind of leader he is on that team, I think that he's the kind of guy that's probably frustrated. And I had a similar situation happen to me my senior year where the first 3 games really wasn't really involved. But I had to, go up and have a conversation with my with a couple of the coaches up there. And I think we all know how talented Anai Smith is. And I think he knows how talented he is. Now I think that we need to figure out, 1, how can we get the ball in his hands in space? And 2, it's my time to take over. And I think he's the kind of guy that will emerge this week, and he's frustrated, but he's not letting those frustrations get to his mind mentally. He's going to overcome those. And I think that he'll have a big time game this weekend. I really do.
Just how good is Oregon this year?
So I think they're really good. The thing that did stand out to me, I was watching them a little bit while I was doing my show the other night. They don't have traditionally to get to the college football playoff or even beyond the fringes. And I think A&M is an example of this last year with Kellen Mond. You got to have an NFL caliber quarterback. I mean, I've said this for years. I talked to Gabe about it.
Looks like we lost Aaron's.
Back league.
There he is. You're back.
Am I back? Am I there?
Yeah, you're back.
Okay. I got a spam call, and I'm doing this from my phone. So I sent the spam to voicemail. But, what I was saying was, we think of the NFL as this quarterback-driven league. Last two number one overall picks, both won national championships, are on Thursday Night Football tonight, Trevor Lawrence and Joe Burrow. But I bring it up because I think increasingly to win national championships at the college football level, you got to have that guy, be it Joe Burrow, be it, I think Mac Jones is going to be an NFL starter for a long time. And so I don't know if Anthony Brown is that guy. And so that puts pressure on the run game. That puts pressure on the defense. Listen, I think Oregon's hands down the best team in the Pac-12. I think they're probably the third best team I've seen behind Alabama and Georgia. Pick your poison there with which one you're more impressed by. But when you start talking about, can you get to the playoff and win games? Can you get to the playoff and win 2 games to win a national championship? That's going to be something that I'm monitoring, because they don't appear to have that pass game that LSU had a few years ago with Joe Burrow, that Trevor Lawrence, that Kyler Murray, that Mac Jones, that Tua, those quarterbacks that have won college football playoff games. I'm fascinated. And then Oregon again going on the road this weekend. It's an early kick. Stanford Stadium is not a hostile venue, which could work both ways, right? It could be an advantage to Oregon. It could be a flat environment for them. I'm curious to see how they come out this week, because that's a game. If you're a national championship contender, go show the world, win by 3 touchdowns on the road. I know it's not easy, but if you're a national championship contender, that's a game you should win and win convincingly.
What are you thinking? And I know it's going to be good, so hit the dump button ready.
All right. So I've got two things on my mind, because one of them goes back to last week. We sat here and we did a checklist, right? Who has the advantages? And we came up with 6-3 A&M. Mm-hmm. If you went back to that checklist after that game was played, we get one check, and it's because our punter is good. It was a hot mess of garbage that we laid in the middle of the field. They came out like crap. They looked like crap. And just because Elko held them to 3 points in the second half doesn't make it excusable that you give up 17 and a flurry. So everything about what happened in Arkansas needs to be flushed, because it's a complete pile of crap. But the problem is, you hear reports about we had a couple of bad practices. How do you have bad practices leading into Arkansas, your conference opener, that you don't even have to go to Fayetteville to play? So it was complete trash across the board. We got outcoached, outclassed, outplayed, you name it. We didn't do it. And it's about time that they start really, it's time to be accountable, because we talked about it, right? Like, grow up, boys. Remember he said it after the New Mexico State, we got to grow up. Well, they didn't grow up a bit, not a bit. They look like garbage. And you know why? It's not just the bad blocking. It's the penalties. It's the discipline. You know why you can't run the ball? Because you have penalties on the offensive line, because we don't have discipline. And some holdings are part of you being out of position, which is discipline. Key your man and block him, helmet on helmet. But we don't have discipline on the front 5. And I'm sick of this. We don't want to talk bad about college athletes specifically, and I'm not here to dump on anybody. But, man, you're starting to get NIL and you're getting more money. So with that becomes adult life, where you have to you got to pay the piper a little bit. I'm not going to sit here and call out individuals, because all 5 of them were kind of trash.
Can you subscribe under your old boss, not what do you call it? Your drill sergeant's the voice?
Drill Sergeant Jose Fuentes.
To Jose Fuentes.
Jose Fuentes, say like, subscribe, comment, share. Because you know what? If you do or don't, Drill Sergeant Fuentes still gets paid. He gives no damn. But it will be better if you do.
His former drill sergeant. He did
Jose
that voice
Fuentes.
There we go. A shot out there. Thanks for watching TexAgs Rewind.